Hello knitting friends, welcome back to the Cozy Soul Knitting Podcast. This is episode 21. Hello, how are you? Welcome or welcome back. If you are new here, my name's Saoirse. I am a knitter from the greater Seattle area in Washington State and this is my knitting podcast. I'm going to talk about all of my recent knitting projects, finished objects, whips. I have some acquisitions, I've got future plans. I've got a little bit of everything, actually a lot of everything today. A lot of everything. It's going to be a long episode, so if you want to, make sure you've got your knitting project with you, maybe some water, maybe a snack, get nice and comfortable because we're going to be here for a little bit. I have a lot to talk about, and at the end of the video, I do want to just chat a little bit. I have a little bit of a, life update kind of segment that I'd like to do. I will do that at the end so that those of you who are only really here for the knitting can, just leave at that point. But if you do want, I don't know why I keep clapping, I'm sorry. If you do want to hear what I've been up to, it's been a while since I podcasted. I'm going to talk a little bit about why that is, a little bit about why I haven't really been around on YouTube very much lately. I have a fun writing update for any of you who care about that. I hit a little milestone in my current writing project, so I thought I would talk about that a little as well. Yeah, it's been over, I think it's been like a month and a half since I last podcasted. I think it was like towards the end of June that I last uploaded a podcast episode. I didn't mean to be, gone so long. It just kind of happened. So I am surrounded by project bags, by yarn, which honestly is like the dream, right? So it's all good. But it is a chaotic mess around me right now. I'm really glad that you can't see it. So let's go ahead and just jump right in and get started talking about finished objects. I am currently wearing my first finished object. I'll move my hair out of the way. This is the Cumulus Tee by PetiteKnit. I knit mine in Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the colorway Sunflower, which is this gorgeous golden yellow color. I love it. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect finished object. I have some issues with the pattern slightly. But overall, this was a successful knitting project, a successful garment. I have worn it quite a few times actually, and I haven't washed it yet. It's not smelly yet. I've only worn it out like maybe 3 times, and none of those times were like, I didn't wear it very long and it wasn't sweating in it or anything, so I haven't washed it. So I just popped it on for today's podcast. I was in Oregon for 2 weeks and I got to wear this out I think a couple times while I was down Oregon coast. I got to wear this out twice, and then I also wore it out once when I was home when I got back, and then it's just been sitting folded up. So if it is a little, I don't think it really is wrinkly or anything, so that's nice. But well, maybe in a few places, but if you see any like wrinkles or places where it looks like I folded it, that's because I did. So let's talk about the yarn. I am obsessed with Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. This has created such a beautiful fabric. It is so like soft, drapey. It was really nice to wear even when it was like hot out. I was wearing this and I wasn't overheating or anything, even though I have like, the longer sleeves. I mean, well, they're not like full sleeves, but longer than I think a normal like short sleeve garment would have. I wasn't overheating it. It kept me really nice and cool. And I love the color. I am obsessed with the fabric that this created, for sure, 100%. I do have more pure silk in my stash and I'm very excited to use it. I don't know what I'm going to use it for. My original plan was to make another one of these, so I may do that, but I would like to find a comparable pattern, like something similar to this that is size inclusive. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I want a pattern like this, like similar gauge, fingering weight yarn, V-neck, but size inclusive. And like the I-cord edge not ribbing, if that makes sense. Even though I feel like that's probably a fairly easy modification to make to a pattern. But I'm looking for something like that because this wasn't a perfect pattern. Regardless of it not being size inclusive, it wasn't like my perfect summer tee pattern. There's some things that I wish were different about it. And so for that reason, like, and because it's not size inclusive, I want to find like my go-to summer tee v-neck pattern that is size inclusive. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, definitely let me know. But moving on to the pattern itself. So it is cropped. I did say that I was not gonna crop this, and then I did. Listen, I tried it on and I was like, yeah, I like this. It looks good at a cropped length. I was like, let's just go ahead and go with it. And I'm actually so glad that I did because of, I don't know, let me see if you guys can see this right here. Hold on. So can you see how it kind of cinches in a little bit? Like the I-cord is not, you know, straight down, if that makes sense. It kind of cinches in. I don't know if you can tell on camera. Hopefully you can kind of figure out what I'm talking about. Like see how it kind of goes in. So the problem, so the pattern tells you when you're doing the I-cord bind off to do decreases as you're doing it. So like there's a certain rate of decreases you're supposed to do. And if I were to knit this again, I would probably see what happens if I omitted the decreases, because I don't know if it was something where maybe her I-cord bind off was too loose, so she had to add decreases so that it wouldn't flare out. But I maybe do mine a little bit tighter, so I don't need that maybe. That's my only guess. Because she was, in the pattern, she tells you not to, or to do the decreases so that the hem does not flare out. But instead mine like cinched in. And so yeah, I am glad that I ended up cropping it, because if I had not, it would have cinched in on, you know, part of me where, you know, I get a little bit bigger, right? Like if it was cinching in like down here, it would have like cut into me a little bit, and I think it wouldn't have looked, I don't know, I don't think it would have looked good, and I don't think it would have felt good, like having a tight hem around like my hips and stuff. I think that would have not been super comfortable, and not the look that I would want to go for. I feel like it would just kind of cut into me a little. So I'm glad that I ended up cropping it, because otherwise I think I would have really disliked it. If I were to knit this over again, though, like I said, I would do it without the decreases, and then I might knit it a little bit longer so it's like more of your average t-shirt length. But I'm okay with it cropped. I like a good cropped shirt, so I have no issues with that. But yeah, it was a little weird, and I saw a lot of people in the Ravelry notes in their projects saying that they didn't do the decreases. So I think, yeah, I think I would try it out. If I were to knit this again, I think I would try out without doing the decreases. Also, another kind of synchronous little mistake that happened was on the first sleeve, when I was doing the I-cord bind off, I completely forgot to switch to my smaller needles, so I knit them on the same size needle that I was knitting the rest of this in, which, let me actually, I don't know if people care what needle size I'm using, because we're all gonna have different gauges, but I don't know, just in case you do care. So my Cumulus Tee I knit on 3mm needles, and so as you can imagine, going down the needle size for the I-cord bind off, I obviously needed a lot smaller needles. I can't remember, and I don't think I wrote it down, and of course I just closed this instead of keeping it open so I could find the page. Okay. Yeah, I didn't write down what needle size I was supposed to do for the I-cord bind off, but obviously like 2mm something, 2 point something. Yeah, so I didn't change down to a needle size, which I'm actually really glad that I did, that I didn't do that, because I think it would have been too tight around my arms if I had. So it was like a mistake, but it also ended up being, I think, for the best. And so I just did the same thing on the other sleeve as well, because I, wanted them to match, obviously. And then for the I-cord edge here, I did the smaller needle size because, I made sure to do that, and it worked out well because there were no decreases at this part. So I think next time, if there is a next time, I would just not do the decreases, and I think that would have been a lot better. And I'm not really sure, again, I'm assuming it was probably something to do with tension, like if you're doing your I-cord bind off really loosely, maybe you need the decreases. If you are doing it a little bit tighter like I probably was, you don't need the decreases. Hard to say, but I was glad that I ended up cropping it and that I made that mistake on the sleeves, because otherwise I think things would have just been like hitting me at not a flattering, not a comfortable spot, if that makes sense. Like I would not want the hem of this sleeve like being really tight on my arms, because like that's just gonna cut into me and not look good. So I already wish that I hadn't done the decreases on here, because again you can see, and this is probably a better example, you can see even though I didn't go down the needle size, I feel like you can still see that it kind of cinches in at the I-cord bind off, and I don't want that. I wanted it to be like a loose fit, kind of more drapey, not cinched in and kind of, I mean, I wouldn't call these balloon sleeves, but like I don't want them ballooning at all, and they kind of do, if that makes sense. So for that reason, I don't love this pattern, right? Like I have some issues with it. I mean, not in the sense that I think it's badly written or that it's not a good pattern. I just think that maybe that's something the pattern could note, is like, maybe you don't want to do the decreases. I don't really know if that's something the pattern needs to state, or if that's something that, as you knit more garments, you just kind of get that awareness of whether or not you would need to do decreases for the bind off or not. So I don't know, but yeah. I just don't really like how it ended up kind of cinching everything in. That's not my favorite. However, overall, I've worn this quite a bit. I like how it looks on me. It's a beautiful fabric, so I'm still pretty obsessed with how it turned out. If I were gonna knit it again, I definitely would not be doing the decreases. And if you are a tight knitter, I would recommend maybe also looking at some other Ravelry projects and looking at people's notes and kind of seeing like, other people who didn't do the decreases, kind of seeing what it looks like for them and stuff. But I would maybe recommend, if you are knitting this, to not do the decreases, again, depending on your tension. So I'm gonna go change into, well, let me show you my next finished object and then I'm gonna go put it on. This is one that has not been on the podcast before. I casted this on after the last episode and then finished it because it's a pretty quick project. Depending on how many whips you have, I feel like you could finish this in like 2 weeks, depending on if you're only knitting on this and if you're, fairly fast knitter. I think like this is something you can finish really quickly. So I went ahead and I knit the Tolsta tank. This is the Cami version. This is a pattern by Rebecca Clow, and aka the Crayabea here on YouTube. As soon as I saw her wearing the Cami version, and I think her first sample in the Cami I think was also in a green colorway, I knew that I needed it. It just looked so like simple yet elegant, and I wanted one. And I just so happen to have some leftover Lena yarn from Sandnes Garn. This is leftover yarn from my Farnham tee by the Knit Pearl Girl. I used the green tea colorway and the white colorway for that, and I had enough leftover yarn for this guy, so that was exciting. I thought I was going to be playing Yarn Chicken. but it turns out I still have one full skein left and a little bit of another skein left over, so this did not require very much yarn at all, and I did not crop it. This is, I think, the length that the pattern tells you to knit it, at least on the body. And then I don't know about the straps. I don't know if I shortened them. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on and show you. I do think I need to go back and shorten them, but other than that, I love this. So I'm gonna go try this on real quick, or put it on. This is it. I personally feel that that the straps are just a little too long, and I feel like when I first put this on, after like I had grafted one strap and then the other one I had it like tied with try-on cords, like I tied these two together because it's knit bottom up, and then you split for the v-neck and you split for the arms and you split for the v in the back as well, and then you have, you know, 4 triangles basically that you're knitting on. When I tried it on, it was perfect, and then I blocked it, and then I think it got too big. Depending on your bust size, this V can be, you know, a little bit more revealing or a little bit less, I think, depending on, you know, your bust situation here. So she does include options, or kind of maybe not like instructions, like guidance. Like you're not being handheld in how to do it exactly, but she does include notes on how you can make this a bit more shallow. So like you would split for the arms, but you'd still be knitting the front panel together. Another thing I think, again, that kind of shows that the straps are just a little too long on this is you can see my bra. So ideally this would come up a little bit more, maybe here. So it's just on me, and I think I knit the straps to the length specified in the pattern, but I feel like they also grew. So that could be a yarn that I'm using, you know. So that's not a fault of the pattern in my opinion, and this is something I just need to go back and I think just take off a few rows. But yeah, other than that, I think it looks really good. It's like, I love the fabric it created. It's just really, really nice. So and see, yeah, like it's just a little too long because you can see my bra in the back here, which is like not that big of a deal if I have my hair back there or something, but I don't know. I ideally don't like my bra showing, but I just don't care. Life's too short. I have to wear a bra. I've got boobs. You know, it is what it is. So if you see my bra strap, I don't really give a shit. Like, people need to, I feel like, get over that a little bit, but at the same time I do like when they're covered. Does that make sense? Like, it's not the end of the world, but it's nice when they do kind of line up with your clothes. But I feel like it's just like such a great summer shirt. I just need to go back and rip out a little bit of the straps, I think, and re-graft them together. And I think the only other thing, and I don't know if this will be helped if I kind of bring this up a little bit, I feel like there's just a little bit of extra fabric right here on me. I don't know if that's, again, I don't know if that's gonna be helped if these, I'm just staring at the viewfinder trying to see, like, does this help if I do this? I don't know. This is gonna be a fun video to edit. I'm like doing all this weird stuff on camera. Okay. But like, do you see how it kind of comes out here? I don't know. So on me, I just feel like it's slightly too big. But I measured it. I think I knit size 3. I measured it. It's exactly the size it's supposed to be. It's like 39 point something inches. That's exactly the bust circumference it's supposed to be. And I have just like not even an inch of positive ease, but I'm almost kind of wondering if I should try to make a version that has negative ease. Like, not a ton of negative ease, just like a little bit less, because I just feel like it's too wide right here on me specifically. And I also don't know if that would be helped with the bust shaping. I did not, sorry, I should have said that earlier. I did not do the version with the bust shaping. So I don't know if that's also some of the issues maybe that I'm having could have been corrected with that. So I'm definitely gonna have to knit this again, play around with it, get a little bit more comfortable with knitting these types of tops. This is my first tank top. Yeah, no, that's a lie. I did knit the mini mock neck tank by Jessie Made, Designs, but that was a different construction. So this is my first time doing anything with with these triangles and the straps kind of coming up together like this. So I don't know. I like it, but it definitely has some room for improvement. But I love the yarn. I think I would definitely work with this yarn again. It's my second time knitting something with it, and I really like it. So just because I'm not super duper comfortable wearing this on camera with it, I mean, you know, with it being a little bit more on the revealing side, I guess. I don't really like that word. But I am gonna pop this back on because I just think I'll be a little bit more comfortable filming in it. But just to make sure I showed you, but I just want to make sure that I'm kind of showing this off properly. And yeah, I could definitely use some bust shaping if you can kind of see how it's, you know, higher here, lower back here. But I really like it. I think it's a really nice design. And again, I think if it just made some tweaks here and there, I think it would end up looking really nice. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it on the viewfinder or on the when I'm editing this. If I'm gonna be like, ugh, I don't like that, or yeah. But I'm gonna go ahead and pop this one back on, and then we will move on with the podcast. My next three objects, finished objects, are socks. And they are all unblocked. I don't know why, I just like haven't been blocking them. I haven't worn any of them. I haven't blocked because I want to block them first. And I just haven't. I don't know what's going on. So I need to have a little sock blocking party, I guess. But here are my first ones. I think I was almost done with these last episode. These are the sock sets from Potions and Purls. It's called Enchanted, I think. Yeah, and if you've been here before and you've heard me talk about Potions and Purls, you already know I love her yarn. I just think that her colorways are so beautiful. I'm obsessed. I have 4 in stash waiting to be knit up, and I have some in my cart. I haven't bought them, but they're in my Etsy cart. I'm just like, I really shouldn't. But they're so beautiful. So I would highly recommend them if you like the yarn base. I can't remember off the top of my head. This one is a little bit different because it has stellina in it. So I think I can't remember. It might be like 80% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and 5% stellina. I think normally it's an 80-20 for her socks. I am not sure though. Don't quote me on that. But I like the base. I like the colorways. And these are just your average vanilla socks. Maybe I should have put them on sock blockers to kind of show them off, but I'm not entirely sure where my sock blockers are. They are around here somewhere, but I don't want to go look for them. So we're just gonna deal with it. I did the contrasting heel or cuff, heel, and toe. This is the vanilla sock pattern that I follow from the Crazy Sock Lady. As per usual, that's always my vanilla socks, are always just me following her tutorial with the magic loop. I think I bought the pattern for 9-inch circulars, but I hate 9-inch circulars, I realize, so I just follow the magic loop tutorial that she has on her YouTube channel, and the only modification I make is the 2x2 rib cuff. But yeah, 60 rounds for the legs, and then I think I usually knit the foot until it's about 7.5 inches, and that is how I do my socks. So at least these ones. My next set, I did an afterthought heel. following the afterthought heel tutorial from Crazy Sock Lady, but these are them here. I knit these out of Knit Picks Felicini. I don't think I'm saying that right, but they're sock yarn. They're like self-striping sock yarn from Knit Picks, and this is the Ambrosia Salad colorway. I think these are very summery, but please tell me if you agree. I think these give a little bit of a candy corn vibe, right? Please let me know if you agree. I keep looking at them and thinking Halloween because I just feel like they're candy corn colors. And I don't like candy corn, so it's a little bit like, but it's still cute. They're still cute socks. But I think I'm gonna wear them. I was like, oh, they're so summery, but then as I was knitting them up, I'm like, I feel like these are gonna be my Halloween socks. Or, you know, at least one pair of Halloween socks. Anyways, yeah, so I did the afterthought heel, 2x2 ripped cuff. One of the socks, I messed up the toe a little bit. I don't think it'll be anything noticeable, but when I knit the toe, I'm again following the Crazy Sock Lady tutorial. You're doing decreases every other round until you get to a certain point, then you do the decreases every round. I forgot. I got to the point where I was supposed to start doing the decreases every round, and I didn't do that, so the toe is just a little bit, I don't think it matters. I don't think I'll notice the difference. So if it had just been that, it would have probably been not noticeable at all. However, I also knit the foot too long. It's about an inch longer, I think, maybe an inch and a half longer than it should be, because I forgot that when you're doing the afterthought heel, like, so when you're knitting, you're trying to figure out like where you're placing your heel and like how much to keep knitting the sock tube. I forgot that you're supposed to allow room for the heel, like that is going to give you a bit of length to the foot. So again, following the Crazy Sock Lady tutorial on YouTube, I was supposed to leave, for my size, 1.5 inches for the heel and then also 1.5 inches for the toe. But I only left 1.5 inches for the toe, not the heel, so I basically knit my foot an inch and a half longer than I was supposed to, if that makes sense. And I didn't realize it until I was already done. So, because I was looking at them and I was like, these look just a little too long compared to my other socks. I think you can probably, yeah, you can see, I don't know, yeah, you can see they're a little bit longer. But I think that's okay. I'm kind of used to socks not really fitting me because I do have pretty small feet, and I feel like store-bought socks, like, they're always a little too big, or especially around my heels, so I feel like it'll be fine. But yeah, I wasn't really following the tutorial super closely because I'd already done it successfully. I'd already done an afterthought heel and it turned out really well, and so I was like not paying it. I didn't like go through and rewatch the tutorial fully. I kind of was like, yeah, okay, now I remember what to do, so I just went for it, and yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Okay. Anyways, so that's my second pair of socks. Again, I casted those on in between episodes, finished them, so that's the only time that they've been on the podcast. And then I also finished another pair of socks. So I finished these when I was down in Oregon. I brought along this sock set because I knew I was going to be done with those, and I casted these on right after I finished those ones, and they're beautiful. They're a little blown out. Let's see if the camera will adjust. There we go. These are so beautiful. They're so colorful. This sock set is from Nanette Wake Studio. I will leave her Etsy shop link down below. Let me go grab, I think there's a ball band somewhere. So that is the ball band. And this is an 80-20 mix base, and it's in, the sock set is called Carousel. I bought these sock sets, I bought two from her back around the same time where I bought my first set of Potion and Purls sock sets. So I don't think that these, this sock set in particular, I don't believe is available on her Etsy shop anymore. I did look the other day and I did not see it. but I think she had some other ones if you're curious. I love this so much because there's literally every rainbow color you can imagine in here. Let's see if I can hopefully like try and show you. So yeah, it's got like rainbow, like your kind of primary color rainbow, if that makes sense, and then it also has like pastel rainbow colors. So I feel like it just has all of the colorful colors, and I love it so much. And then I didn't do the contrast color on the toe because I forgot, but that's okay. I feel like I could have said I did that intentionally, so. Anyways, these are my last pair of socks. So I have a lot of socks to block. I just have a pile of socks. I've just really been enjoying always having socks on the needle. It's just such a good, like, mindless stockinette in the round project. So let's go ahead and move on to whips. I've got 2 sock projects I'll go ahead and start with. So this first one, I actually, this is part of my acquisitions. I did buy some project bags from an Etsy shop. It's called So Sandy So, and I bought some sock project bags. These are very cute. Little drawstring pouches. This one has like these fun, colorful cats, and kind of a quilted look to it. These are really good quality. Like, yeah. These are really good quality. I'm very happy with this purchase. I also bought another one, but I'll show it to you later. And they're the perfect size for socks because it, you know, you've got your one skein in there. It's perfect. So I've started my next sock. Let me get this sorted for you. So I just have the cuff going. I think I finished the cuff, the rib, and I've just done a few, I've only done a few rounds of stockinette, and you can't really see it, but this is one of the crazy Zauberballs from Schoppel. I think I'm saying that right. And it's, I don't know, I will have the colorway like number because I don't think it has like a name. I'll have it down in the description for you if you're curious, but it's just this like pastel pink and purple colorway, and I guess one of those yarns that people will use instead of Spin Cycle if they're looking for a, you know, more affordable alternative to Spin Cycle. So it's, yeah, it's kind of got that same, I don't know what that's called, where it's like the 2 colors actually have some Spin Cycle here, so it's like, you know, I don't know, that barber pole kind of situation. I don't know anything about spinning, so I don't know if there's a name for that, but it's one of those yarns that's like spun in a similar aesthetic as the Spin Cycle, so but commercially dyed and all that. So anyways, I'm just doing a vanilla sock. As it works up, I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna do an afterthought heel or not for it. Like if I think that doing like a slip stitch heel will interrupt the color fading situation that it has going on. We'll see, but that's my current vanilla sock project. I feel like I always have to have one vanilla sock on the needles. It's just, it's so nice because it's just like, you know, you always have something easy to grab if you need it. And then in a slightly bigger bag, I need to see if this will fit in a smaller pouch, but I have my first ever color work sock. This is the start to the Blooming Lavender socks by Charlotte Stone Knits. I think it's Charlotte Stone, yeah. It's kind of a yarn tangled mess in this bag. This is my, oh god, got some. This is my main color. It's from Knit Picks. It's their Stole Tweed. And the colorway name for that one is Earl Grey Heather, and then the yarn, the purple contrast color is Stole Fingering in Duchess Heather, I believe. And then I have the green color, green contrast color is the stole tweed fingering, and this one is, I think, dill heather, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, so this is what I have so far. I just started the color work, so the lavender bits here. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm gonna need to rip this out or not. Let me see. I don't know if, oh god. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show you this, I'm sorry. Like, I can't get too close to the camera because the light. But if can you see how it's kind of, I guess like I could show you this way. Do you see how my floats are really tight across like where it transitions from the second needle to the other? Like, so here you can see it, there's like these are really tight, and so it kind of creates this bubbled, kind of puckered thing going on here. And also again too on this side as well. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of puckering here a little bit. I don't know if that's the right word to describe that, but I don't know. I think I might be able to keep going with it in hope that it blocks out, and just make sure that I'm really, and so that's the thing. I've heard, and if you knit colorwork socks on Magic Loop, please give me some tips. Some people say just to really make sure that you are, like, after you knit that first stitch with the color that is floating from this side to this side, to just really make sure that you like tug it and lengthen it. And some other people say to catch the color right on like one of these last stitches before you switch needles, so that it doesn't have, you know, that far to travel. In the book, because I have the Sew Knits book with the colorful, I think it's like the Charming Colorwork Socks or something, she says to try to not catch your floats too often, that you like shouldn't really need to catch them, and to not do it too often because that can make the socks too tight. But this will also make the socks too tight. So I don't know, there wasn't really any guidance in the book for how to fix this issue. So if you, I'm sorry if that didn't make sense, if my explanation of what's happening didn't make sense, but if you have any tips for knitting, and I really don't want to have to, like, I want to be able to keep, I don't want to fiddle with the stitch placement. I want to keep the front of the sock on one needle and the back of it, so that when I go to the heel, it'll be easier to keep track of my stitches. I don't want to be like shifting the beginning of round, well, I mean, I want to be shifting the beginning of round, but like, I want this to be the front of my sock and this one to be the back of my sock. I don't want to like take, you know, stitches and move around where this is. Does that make sense? I want to avoid that if possible, but I also want to make sure that I'm, you know, not having that issue with the floats being too tight when I'm going from one needle to the other. So if you have any suggestions, any tips, any tricks, let me know. I tried to look at YouTube, and yeah, I think the only two solutions that I really found were just like making sure to really like tug it, like to really, you know, make sure that it's not too tight. And then the other one was to like catch it right before, like a stitch or two before you change needles. So I think I'm going to try that way out. But then again, the book said not to catch your floats too often and when, you know, it's not necessary. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited that this is finally on the needles. I've been wanting to cast this on forever. I haven't not picked it up in weeks. So I need to get back on this, but I was kind of just disappointed with the like puckering issue, and it kind of just put me off from working on it. So I need to get back to working on that. My next whip to share with you is pretty much, it's pretty much done. I am playing around with the idea of adding one more motif to this, just because there's one more that I wanted to do that I didn't get around to, and I think I don't know, it fits around my neck, but it is a little, I don't love like things being too tight, and it's not tight, like it'll fit, but I just think it might be a little bit nicer to have just a little bit extra room, maybe like so just another inch or so, an inch and a half or so on this would be maybe nice to have. So I'm thinking about it, but I haven't decided completely. But anyways, I technically have finished though the knitting portion of my Regency Romance doodle cowl. This is one of the doodle cowl patterns by Jamie from PetiteKnit Co. This is so beautiful. I'm obsessed with these. This yarn kit is from Moonglow Yarn Co. She dyed up some yarn to go with this design, and it's stunning. It's so fun. Look at that. We've got umbrellas, crowns, butterflies. I put some little hearts here. I was basically following the sample that Jamie knit because I don't know, I kind of just wanted to mindlessly like knit this and not think about the placement of the motifs. So I just followed that, but the only thing I changed was I did put some hearts in between the bees and the butterflies here. And then I might do the top hat motif right here, but if I don't, the knitting is done. I just need to block it and then graft it together so that it makes a cowl. So, but yeah, so bees, diamond, teacups, fans, more butterflies, letters, this fun design here. It looks so good, and it's just gonna, yeah, it's gonna kind of go up here. So I just feel like I could use like another inch or so. So I'm not, but also I think it might grow a little bit with blocking, so hard to say if I should add. I think I might add the top hat. I don't know. Let me know what you think I should do. But that's the other thing, is I need to get a steamer because I'm just a little nervous trying to block this, like soaking it, just because, you know, this is hand-dyed yarn, and is this my first time? I think this might be my first time doing color work with hand-dyed yarn, so I'm just a little nervous. And this is such a dark navy blue, and then you have like some like the cream white shade. I'm just a little bit nervous about it bleeding. I don't know if it would or not. I could do a swatch and see. I'm just worried that the swatch, like what if the swatch lies to me? What if the swatch doesn't bleed, but this does? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just nervous. So I think I might steam block it. I don't have a steamer though, so I need to get one. I have an Amazon gift card, so I'm gonna just use it to buy myself a steamer, and I think that'll come in handy because I have another project that I would like to steam block as well. So yeah, so this one, I don't know when I'll finish it, just because I need to actually get a steamer and decide if I'm going to do the top hat motif right here. I think this turned out so good. It was so fun to knit. I'm obsessed. I have another one. I'm going to be doing the ocean doodle next, I believe, so I'm very excited for that. I haven't casted it on yet, but I'm very, very excited. I would definitely recommend these if you like color work. Super briefly, I want to get this one out of the way because I've talked about it a lot, so I'm just going to show you. I have been working a little bit on my Barbara shawl from Gregoria Fibers. You can see where I changed skeins, I think. I feel like in the viewfinder it's very obvious. I think this stitch marker is, I think where I put a progress keeper in for the last time that I showed this in a podcast. This hurts my hands though so badly. I don't know what to do with it. I still have so far to go, and it's like every time I start to work on it consistently I get hand pain. So I think it might be the gauge, my gauge. I didn't do a gauge swatch, so I don't know if maybe my gauge is like tighter than it should be for this. I really want the finished object, and I like, it's like I like knitting it. I like the pattern, like the stitch repeat, but it just hurts my hands. So I don't know what to do with this. I don't know if I should frog it and just give up on it, or if I should just work on it a little bit by little bit, and maybe in like 2 years I'll have the finished object, but that just seems so silly. I don't know. Let me know if you've ever had a situation like this and what you would do if you were me. Would you frog it? Would you just work on it here and there until you finish? I really want the finished objects. I really, really do, but it's gonna take forever to get there because I don't want to hurt my hands, you know? I don't know really what about this pattern is the issue. Could be the gauge, could be the stitch pattern repeat, I'm not sure. But anyways, that is my barber shawl. And then keeping with shawls, I brought this one back into rotation. I never meant to abandon this whip, it just happened. I think it was because of gift knits last year. And then I kind of just never got back into this project, but I finally brought back out my Geo Gradient shawl, which was the West Knits M Cow from last year. Before I abandoned this whip, I had done Clue 2, and I have finished half of Clue 3. So right here, this portion here is part of Clue 3. It's such a beautiful texture, it's so fun. I had a lot of fun doing this part of it, and except for, I think when I got to like this point here, I was like, okay, this is getting a little tedious, but I persevered and finished that part. And then I have started the other side. It's not very much. I've done like a row. So yeah, I brought this one back out. I'm really happy with it. I got one of the kits he sold on his website. It was hand-dyed yarn from Life in the Long Grass. I think it was the Baroque set, if that helps you. I don't know if they still have this yarn. But yeah, it's just like, it's really fun. So that is my Geo Gradient shawl, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I'm really tempted to do the knit along this year as well, but I think it'll depend on if I have finished this one and what other things I'm knitting at the time. So I haven't fully decided, but I'm having a lot of fun with this one, and I feel like I've learned a lot from the pattern and like up to my skill as a knitter. So that's what I want to do. I want to do it again this year. I'm gonna go ahead and move on. I think the last two things that I have to talk about are garments. So I have my Fiola, making steady progress on this guy. I have finished a sleeve, so I have not finished the body. I decided to take this opportunity to knit the sleeves and the neckline first and then finish the body, just to make sure that it's the right length that I want. It's harder to see right now because it's kind of tightening up on itself a little bit. Let me get my hands in here so I can show you. Kind of spread it out with my fingers a little bit. So this is the lace detail that's running down the sleeve. So it'll go like down this way here. So I finished a sleeve. I think I'm gonna do the neckline next just to get it over with, and I will pick up the other sleeve and start working on that, and then I'll finish the body. But yeah, this is the Fiola pullover by Isabel Kramer, and what else about it? Oh, the yarn is from Knit Picks. It is their Galileo yarn in the colorway Orion, and I love it. It's a beautiful green. I'm gonna wear this so much. It's gonna be beautiful. Yeah. Anyways, this yarn is really fun to work with. It's really soft. I'm guessing it's gonna pill quite a bit, but I think that's okay because it's so soft. I think it's gonna be worth it. Sorry, I'm kind of speeding through things now because my voice is starting to go, and we've also been filming for so long. I need to get this wrapped up, and I'm sure I don't want it to be too long for you guys either, so I'm sorry if I'm speeding through things now, but we're almost done. this is my next whip, and my last whip actually to talk about. It is my, this is my Leith cardigan. So excuse all of like the stitch markers and everything, and like for some reason it's kind of rolling up on itself a little bit, but I have finished the body, so it's just sleeves and then the button band. So I have one of the sleeves picked up and working on. I think I was in the middle of one of my magic loop rounds and I just stopped for some reason. I'm not sure. I think I also dropped, I don't know. This might be my beginning of round. I'm not sure. I need to like figure out where I was on this. So I haven't picked it up in a while because I'm like, ugh, I'm gonna have to like sit down and really think about like what I was doing here and like what to do next, because I don't know if I just need to like check and see what's going on and if this is my beginning of round or not. Just in case you haven't heard me talk about this yet, this yarn is all from Explorer Fibers Bane collection. I have their Earthy DK held with the alpaca yarn and their boucle yarn as well, all in the shade Olive Grove for my boucle. So it's coming along. I really need to just sit down and get both the Fiola and the Leith cardigan done. I feel like they've both been on the needles. I mean, the Leith has been on my needles for so long. I feel like there was a point where I was making really steady progress with it, and then I haven't reached for it in so long. But I also did make progress, I think, from the last time that I did the podcast, so I did want to share it. Now on to acquisitions, and I also had some future plans I wanted to talk about as well. So hopefully I can kind of speed through these a little bit. I had another project bag from So Sandy So, and she did send a little notions pouch as well, and I feel like they kind of go together, so that was cute. That was a fun little surprise in my package. So I have some fun, oh my gosh, I just hit myself in the face. I have some fun project bags for smaller projects now, and that made me realize I also forgot to show you this. I did cast on a Musselburgh hat in this yarn. This is from Wild Star Fibers, I'm pretty sure. I cannot remember the name of the colorway. I will leave it in the description box. But yeah, I have a Musselburgh hat. It's not much. I feel like I can't really show you because it's on, you know, such small needles. So sorry, I forgot to show you that, but let's move on. I'm sorry I'm taking so long. Okay, I'm so sorry. I am overheating so bad. This isn't the problem. It's the studio light and the fact that this room in particular gets a lot of sun in the afternoon and it gets quite hot. So I'm sweating. I'm so sorry. But let's move on to Yarny acquisitions. Like I mentioned, I was in Oregon for a couple weeks. I was down on the Oregon coast, and I did of course stop in to the Cannon Beach yarn shop. It's called Coastal Yarns. If you're ever in the area, I definitely recommend. It's a cute little shop and they're really nice. I picked up some sock yarn. I wanted to buy more. They had some beautiful yarn kits for some Blue Sky Fibers patterns. There was like a colorwork wrap that I really wanted to get, but I didn't do it. And there was some other yarn in there that I was like looking at that I think would have made a really good sweater. So I took a picture of it so I could look for the brand later on. I limited myself to just the one skein of sock yarn. So I picked up, this is their Sneaker Wave fingering base. It is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and this is in the colorway Sitka Spruce. So I think all of their shade names for their hand-dyed yarn are kind of like Pacific Northwest themed, but this is just such a beautiful like dark teal, and I think it would make a really good pair of like lace or cable socks. I haven't picked out a pattern for it yet, but that is what I want to do for this. So I feel like I have a lot of like variegated and speckled fun, you know, yarn colorways for vanilla socks, but I don't always feel like those lend well to patterned socks, so I wanted to get a tonal for that. So there's that one. Super beautiful. And then my mom also bought some yarn, but for me to knit something with, so I'm going to be knitting her another Chesley toque. If you know, we unfortunately lost the one that I made for her for Christmas. It was a sad event because we thought we were gonna get it back and we didn't. She was wanting me to make her another one because she really, really loved that hat. So she picked out some yarn. This is the Coastline base, which is just 100% extra fine merino wool. It's a worsted weight, and this is in the colorway Oregon Grape. Well, my mom bought 2 of them. I was looking at the Ravelry page for the Chesley toque, and in like the section that just kind of has like the specs of the pattern and everything, it gave one number for the amount of yarn that you would need, and I just looked at that and I was like, oh, it's one skein is just slightly too much, or slightly too less yardage. Did that make sense? One skein, according to the one number I saw on Ravelry, would not have been enough yarn, so I had her get 2, but then I was looking at the pattern later, and when you're reading more about the pattern, it gives another number that all that to say, I'm pretty sure I can knit the Chesley toque with 1 skein, so she might have another skein to play around with, or I can make her 2. So if she loses 1, again, we'll have a backup. I don't know, some possibilities with that, but really beautiful purple, dark purple shade. I think it'll be fun for the Chesley toque. Maybe I'll make one for her, one for myself, and we'll be matching. I don't know. So while I was in Oregon, I got the email. I was just checking my email like I do, and I saw the email come through from Spin Cycle that they had launched their bundles for the framed sweater pullover. So I couldn't help myself, okay? So I saw these bundles, and I think the one I got is number 5. I just loved the colors so much, and the pattern just looked so fun. And I'm not going to Rhinebeck. I think this is supposed to be like one of the Rhinebeck sweaters that people can knit for Rhinebeck. I'm not going. Maybe someday. Maybe, because isn't it in October? It could be a really fun birthday trip for me to do at some point, because my birthday's in October, but I'm not going this year. Maybe someday, but I'm gonna knit the sweater. And yeah, this bundle, these colorways, they just, yeah, I needed to get them. So I'm super excited. I'm hoping to cast this on pretty soon because I think this will be a really fun sweater to have going into fall. Because I feel like fall colors, like kind of, like maybe not traditional fall colors, but still. I'm getting fall vibes from these colors. Let me just pick up one of each to show you. So this color is going to be the part at the top, and then these are the part that's going to be in the color work. So I have the Dream State. I have 4 of the Dream State skeins. This is Dirty Little Secret. And then I have 3 of these ones, which is the Spinster's Daughter worsted, and this colorway is Ranch Romance. And then another of the Spinster's Daughter worsted. I have 2 of these for that top portion, and this is in the colorway Sunnies. I'm so excited. I want to cast this on like right now, but I'm gonna hold off for a little bit, but I will be casting it on soon. All right, and then I have a few more. I went into Joann's with my mom, and it's Joann's, so of course they're having a sale. And I found a lot of cotton yarn that felt so nice. Like if I had seen it online, I might not have bought it, but seeing it in person, like being able to feel it, like it feels so good. So I picked up a few different things. I picked up the Eddie Bauer 100% organic cotton. It's called their Adventurer cotton, and these are 150 gram skeins. There was 3 of them left in the store, so I grabbed all 3. I don't know what I'm gonna make with this, but if it's like, I wish I could hand it to you so you could feel it. It's so soft. It doesn't feel like usual cotton yarn to me anyways. It feels very, very soft, and I cannot wait to have like some sort of pullover in this or something. This is a fingering weight. Again, I don't know what I'm gonna make with it, but I'm very, very, very excited for this. So then I also picked up some some yarn from K&C. This is 100% cotton. I got, I think 8 of this colorway, which is Rainforest. It's really beautiful. Again, it feels really soft. Like, it doesn't feel, you know, that cotton that feels kind of like dry. I don't like, you know, I don't know how to describe it. This just feels so soft and nice. Like, it'll be really nice on the skin. Okay, so I got 8 of those. And then I also picked up another colorway, and these are a DK weight yarn. I picked up also the color Sequoia. I got 7 of these. I think there was only 7 left. I would have gotten 8, but, and it was like a, I don't know, they were so inexpensive. So they were really on sale at the store that I was at, and yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna knit with these. However, with these, I am considering, Rebecca Clow's Lunin, right? Yeah, her Lunin top. I want to knit that in a cotton yarn because I think that would be really nice. However, I also just recently was watching her podcast episode where she was wearing the green version that's knit out of Filcolana Arwetta, and it has negative ease, and it looks so good. It looks so good. It looks so... And I have some Arwetta yarn. It's in like a lilac shade. And I had bought some Filcolana Tilia to go with it, but the colors don't look super duper similar. Like the purple Tilia color I got is kind of a silvery purple, whereas like the Arwetta is more of a lilac. So I kind of didn't really know if I wanted to use those together, and I don't know what I'm going to use that Arwetta yarn for, and I'm kind of thinking I want to use it for the Lunin, but then I'm also thinking like I kind of want the olive green because that's my color. I love an olive green. I think that's probably one of my most favorite greens. So I'm kind of like, maybe I should just get the exact yarn that she used for that sample because it's gorgeous, and then go for like the negative ease with that like ribbed. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna put a picture of the one that, like the specific one I'm talking about. But I was thinking I could use this yarn for a DK weight Lunin and have it be like a more of a summery vibe because it's cotton. Or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna use that for, but I decided to grab those because they were on sale, and I do want to get some more summer teas in while we're still having some hot weather. And I don't know. I went ahead and got extra of the 2 knit K&C ones, just because I didn't know what I was going to use them for, so I got a few more just to make sure that I had enough for anything that I might want to do. Yeah, so those are my acquisitions. And now I just want to talk really briefly about my knitting plans. So this is Lion Brand Trubu. Yesterday, I think, I sat down and I did do a gauge swatch. I ripped it out because, yeah. I was realizing I bought exactly enough of the Trubu. Exactly enough. Like literally it's exactly the right number of yards to knit the size of the Faye Summer top that I want to knit from Irene Lynn. So I ripped out I ripped out the gauge swatch just because I was like, I might need this. Anyways, I was like a stitch and a half off of gauge, but I liked the fabric, and the size that I'm going to knit, I believe, will be size 3, and if I had the correct gauge, it would have a little bit too much positive ease for me. I'm like really very much in between sizes in this pattern, and so I'm thinking since my gauge is off just a little bit, I'll knit size 3 and it'll have a little bit less positive ease because it'll be a little bit smaller than intended. And then also I've heard that this yarn does grow, so I'm like a little worried it's gonna end up being like too big anyways. So part of me is also kind of like, maybe I shouldn't knit it in this because it has a lot of texture. I don't know if this is going to hold that texture. So I'm gonna look a little bit more at Ravelry, see, because I thought I saw someone knit it with this, so I just want to like look at their project again and make sure I think it's gonna work for that project. I also have some Kobu that might give a little bit more structure, so I could do it in that, but it's in a different shade, which is fine. But anyways, so I'm also gonna chat with, because I'm going to be doing this as a little kind of unofficial knit along with Faith from the Fiber Fables podcast and Jenny from the Honey-Bird Studio. So I might ask them too what they think I should do, because I'm like having second thoughts about this yarn. But anyways, I will be casting this on in the next couple of days as soon as I figure out which yarn to use. And then I also have 2 other projects that I'm hoping to cast on soon that I haven't really talked about, so I thought I would sneak them in here. The first one, I'm going to be using the leftovers of my Drops Flora that I had for my Never sweater. So I want to use this to knit the Coastland Shawl by Anina, aka Annie UD Knits, here on YouTube. I will leave her channel link down below. I'm sure a lot of you already know her. Because I don't know, I was binging her podcast a little bit ago, a couple weeks ago, like catching up on her podcast, and I was reminded of how much I wanted to knit her Coastland shawl and her Coastland cowl. And so I think, I don't know, I was like looking through my stash because I was like, maybe I already have some yarn for it, and I do. So I'm going to be using this because I have several skeins of this left over for my Never sweater. So there's that. Very, very, very exciting. And then her Coastland shawl, I have some leftover yarn from my Lanark that I knit last year. This is Pearl Soho knitting yarn. It is in the colorway Lark Brown. I think I'm gonna knit the cowl in this because I think I have enough of this left. I think this was the yarn. I think this was the yarn that I was thinking of. I have like 2 skeins and a little bit of another skein left over. So I think I have enough to knit those. And I think it'll just be like fun. And I kept like looking at them in her podcast, and I'm just like, wow, those are beautiful. So anyways, that wraps up the knitting portion. Those are future plans and acquisitions that I have. Sorry that this has been such a long podcast. I'm gonna squeeze out a little bit of an update. So if you are only here for the knitting portion and you're leaving me here, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope this kept you company while you were knitting. If you were knitting while watching, please let me know what you were knitting on. But yeah, if you're leaving me here, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you back here in my next podcast episode, which will hopefully be in 2 weeks. Okay. If you're staying, I kind of want to knit while I talk, but I feel like that'll just distract me and then it'll make this longer than it needs to be, so I won't do that. So I wanted to just give you a little bit of an update about where I've been, because I haven't been on YouTube. The last you will have maybe seen of me, I did a knitting vlog, I think, and I also posted over on my other channel where I was trying to start doing booktube content. That's kind of not I'm probably not gonna continue with that channel. Because I had this huge realization that I was spending way too much time and energy on YouTube when what I actually really want to be doing is writing. And I kind of have this mentality of like, since I'm not working a 9-to-5 job, that I can do so much more because I have more time. However, that's not the case, and I need to prioritize what is most important to me, and writing, that's writing. And yeah, I just had this realization of like, okay, I really need to spend more time writing, spend more time prioritizing my writing, and then the time that, you know, also prioritizing like taking care of myself, you know, eating better, getting exercise in, being with friends and family and my dog, and, you know, like resting, right? Resting and just enjoying myself. And yeah, I also realized that I wasn't really finding a lot of joy in content creation lately. I haven't really felt like my heart has been in it, especially with like the vlogs. I don't think I was really enjoying myself. I think I was in a little bit of denial about it, but I don't think I was really enjoying myself. And the bookish content, it was like almost instantaneously made me not have fun reading. I barely read in July because I was feeling so much pressure to try to create content, and I just stopped. And I made the decision to just, for the time being, for the foreseeable future, I am just going to be doing knitting podcasts, and it feels so freeing to come to that conclusion. I'm just going to be focusing on my writing, and I'm going to be doing a knitting podcast every 2 weeks, and that's it. As far as content creation goes, I'm not going to do anything else. Maybe I'll try to be on Instagram a little bit more, since I won't be doing so many videos. But it just feels so good to take a step back, to not put so much time and energy into something that I just wasn't feeling like it was fulfilling. And anyways, since making that decision, I finished my first draft of Project Canopies. If you were following along with my writing at all, Project Canopies is my current writing whip. It is an urban fantasy romance, and it's first book in a series. It's probably going to be my debut book. I'm going to self-publish. It's going to be my debut. And I finished the first draft, and that's just such a fun, exciting milestone for this project. And it came after I just like decided that I wasn't going to do as much YouTube. And I was able to just get that like energy and that inspiration to go finish this book and finish the first draft anyways. And then yeah, I did the read through afterwards, kind of, you know, just reading through what I'd written, making notes, seeing where I need to change, mostly focusing on like big picture stuff. And I have a lot of work ahead of me. I gotta add a lot to the plot because I didn't feel like there was enough plot in the book. And I also felt like she was kind of making friends, like my main character was like making friends with people too quickly. Like there wasn't enough, like, you know, like I'm like, I need more tension here, I need more things to happen, need it to be a little bit more slow burny. So I'm working on draft 2. I am currently kind of in a little bit of an outlining phase, trying to incorporate the changes that I want to make to the plot, and just I'm kind of in a phase where I'm like going through and kind of re-outlining to make sure it works. And then I'm going to be officially starting draft 2, which is very, very exciting, because once I finish draft 2, I'm going to send it to a couple of my friends who are going to kind of beta read it for me. Depending on how I'm feeling about the draft, I may look for other beta readers. If any of you are like avid fantasy romance readers and you might want to beta read for me, let me know if that's something you'd be interested in, because I might be looking for beta readers soon. You would be reading what I have so far and giving me feedback, and yeah, so things are happening, things are moving forward, and that's perfect. So that's where I've been, that's what I've been up to for the past like month and a half. Plus I was in Oregon for 2 weeks on a vacation, which was really, really nice. There were a lot of crafters that were on this vacation with me. My friend was there who knits, and her and I got our other friend who he like kind of already knows how to knit, but he had never worked in the round before and he didn't know how to purl, so we were teaching him that so he could work on a hat. And then we had some other, like my mom was there, my godmother was there, and other people who are also crafters, so we had like a craft table going at one point. It was really fun. So yeah, that is where I've been for the past month and a half. So I just wanted to kind of briefly touch on that, but I'm doing really well. The writing's going good. Everything else in life is good. The dog is doing well. She's currently sleeping on the couch, as per usual. She did so well down in Oregon. She's never been around kids before, and we had some kids there with us, and she adjusted to them so nicely. I'm always nervous about how she's gonna do around other dogs, but she was so great with the other dogs when she was around them, and it was just so wonderful. So things have been going really well. Anyways, I think that's all that I have to share with you today. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you did make it this far and you want to leave me like a plant or leaf emoji in your comments to let me know, that would be awesome. But yeah, let me know what you've been working on. Let me know what you've been up to. Let me know if you've knitted any of these same projects, or if you're going to. If any of the yarn that I acquired recently, if you've knit with it before, let me know how you liked it. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching. If you haven't subscribed and you like my knitting podcast, make sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. And other than that, again, hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I will see you hopefully in 2 weeks in another knitting podcast. Bye!
Alright, this is a song that I wrote about falling too fast, but I wouldn't know anything about that.
I don't wanna lose my grounding, so you catch me not responding, and I press my lips together so you don't find any answers.